Welcome to another episode of the SportsBros podcast, featuring the Almighty B-Live, the Money Man Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative, Eddy Kool. And without any further ado, let's give it up for the SportsBros. Hey, what's going on, world? This be your boy, Eddy Kool, a.k.a. the HOC, and you are now tuned in to episode 102 of the SportsBros podcast. That's right. It's 100 plus 2 more, which equals 102. We got a whole lot to talk about on this episode because there's a whole lot that went on during this week in the world of sports. So guess what? Enough of my incoherent rambling. It's time for me to introduce my co-host. Leading off, the Almighty B-Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? That question never gets old because there's always a different answer all the time. There's going to be some ridiculousness that's going to go on this podcast, on this episode. And I'm here for it. I don't know about the other guy. He already asked me to behave today, and that's absolutely not happening. So go ahead and introduce the other guy. Yes, sir.
The SportsBros podcast and behaving, something about that don't go together. Does not go together. But I know it does go together. The pride of Washington, Pennsylvania, none other than the Money Man Scottie D.
Woo! What a weekend. March Madness, baby. It was on fire this weekend. And a new heavyweight champion of the world in the UFC. I'm ready to talk some sports. Let's lay it on me here, Eddy Kool. Let's do it, baby.
All right, fellas, let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? As the Money Man Scottie D said. All right, so this weekend, of course, the Elite Eight has been set. It is in stone as we speak. Right now, we have a live game because, of course, we record on Monday to put out on Tuesday, between Oregon State and Houston, if I'm correct. Yes. All
yes.
Right. And according to Scottie D, from what he said before we hit the record button, Houston is laying the smackdown on the the Beavers of Oregon State. Correction, the Beavers of Oregon State. So we have that game going on now, and then later tonight we'll have Arkansas and Baylor, and then tomorrow we will have USC and the buzzsaw that is the Gonzaga Bulldogs. And, of course, UCLA, and my pick to win it all, according to the brackets, the Wolverines of Michigan. Yes, the Michigan Wolverines. Fellas, I'm going to ask you a question. But B-Live, I'll start with you first. Which is the most intriguing game during the Elite Eight?
Well, to me, there's every one of them. How do you pick one?
True, that's true.
Man, I can tell you right now, UCLA, really? I'm so intrigued with them right now because they were a play-in game. They had to play an extra game, and now they're in the Elite Eight. And it just seems like a lot of things are clicking for them right now. It's going to be very, very, very intriguing. And I'm hoping that UCLA pulls off the win against Michigan because Eddy Kool picked Michigan to win it all, and I need him to lose because my bracket is suffering terribly right now. So go Bruins. Yes, go Bruins. Gotta have it. Let's get it.
Boo. Scottie D, which games intrigue you during the Elite Eight?
That's actually the one I was going to say, just because UCLA has gotten so hot. And we just talked last week about VCU being the only team that's been in the position that UCLA is currently in, a first four team with a chance to get to the final four team, to get to the final four. VCU last week, remember we talked about that in our I Call BS segment, and they have an opportunity and they look good. So that is, to me, an intriguing matchup because on the other hand, you have Juwan Howard, a guy who played in 2 Final Fours with Michigan, get a chance to lead them back to the Final Four. I actually think that they're going to do it. I think they're going to finally cool Michigan off. Arkansas and Baylor's a good one. That's by the time the podcast comes out, that game will be complete. But as we're talking about it, that's going to be coming on later on tonight. And Baylor's looked strong. I think they're going to be too much for Arkansas to handle. And Gonzaga just looks like they haven't even really been challenged at this point. So that'll be interesting to see if USC can put up a fight with them. Again, the Pac-12 is still hanging in there as of the recording. The game of those that I'm most interested in, though, is Michigan and UCLA. And I do think Michigan's going to hold on and get through them.
Yep, I am intrigued with the Michigan and UCLA too, because I also have vested interests. As B-Live mentioned, at the last time I checked, I think I'm number one.
Nobody cares about it.
Nobody cares.
That's not even necessary. Let's move on.
I think we need a recount.
There's nothing to see here.
Don't forget the fantasy football is still under protest as well. So I think this could be under protest. Our fantasy football is under protest by me. We still have to review all that. We'll get to that eventually. This, I don't know. Seems like some fishy going on here.
Well, let's go ahead and update the Sports Bros brackets.
There you go, B-Live. Give us the update to
right
the
now,
Sports Bros bracket bandits, please and thank you.
All right, and I'll go bottom to top, and just because that's how I feel like doing things. Sitting in 8th place right now, we have Scottie Heineman with 350 points. Tied for 6th place, we have Mr. Marcus 81. And then, all right, in 4th place, we have Rodney Bellamy. 3rd place, we have Terrible Pete Talansky. In 2nd place, we have the money man, Scottie D. And in 1st place, all right. Yeah.
Yep, you're in 2nd place.
Scottie D, you are in 2nd place.
With no Final Four teams. That's incredible. I got one team. I got Gonzaga. That's it.
B-Live, who was the 1st place again?
What had happened was...
Whoa. Wait a minute. What's the point difference there from 1st and 2nd?
There is a 50-point difference between 1st and 2nd place.
So conceivably, Michigan loses, Gonzaga wins the whole thing. 1st place can still be overtaken.
Oh, absolutely.
Stay tuned.
I need Baylor to win it all. But here's where Scottie D is sitting right now, because there's 3 people in this league that pick Gonzaga to win it all. So, and right now with the max points that are available, the best bracket with the max points available is Rodney Hot Rod. His bracket right now as it sits can get a maximum of 1,320 points. Eddy Kool can get 1,310. Money Man can only get 1,020. So you struggle. So there's a lot of moving and shaking that could be done. And you notice I didn't mention mine at all because
it's time we stop using the Dominion voting system here for this for our polls. We keep using Dominion and I keep getting screwed on this. Anyway.
It's either that or be a liar like Derek Jackson. Moving right along to the next.
No, you did. You did.
Yeah, I had to jug, jab. Kids, keep it real. It does not pay to be a fraud at that and profit off of it. It's not good for business. You don't see us right claiming to be experts and know it all when it comes to sports. But in the words of the Almighty B-Live, I digress. And getting right back on track, as Scottie D mentioned earlier, in the world of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC, and new heavyweight champion is the Predator, Francis Ngannou, as he defeats Stipe Miocic in the 2nd round, 52 seconds in the 2nd round, TKO/KO. And with that being said, Scottie D, what is next for the Predator, Francis Ngannou?
Well, funny you should ask, because in February, Dana White said Jon Jones is getting the winner of this fight. And then on fight night, Jon Jones tweets out, "Show me the money." So Now there's already tension between Dana White and Jon Jones. They've had money battles before. So I think we're going to be in for a battle with this going forward. I don't think it's a done deal that Francis Ngannou fights Jon Jones next. Jon Jones is being criticized for saying that, and people are saying he's already scared of fighting Ngannou. And Jones said, "Why would I be scared? I knew who was fighting. I've already put on all this weight to be a heavyweight. I just want to get paid what I'm worth." Blah, blah, blah. This is going to be a battle between those two. Having said that, just to go back to what we saw on Saturday night, Ngannou looked fantastic. I mean, Stipe beat this guy back in 2018. But to me, Stipe looked in this fight like he was too small to be in there. Did you guys see these two up against each other in the cage at all? Did you guys see the fight or the highlights anyway?
I wound up catching the highlights, and I was like, Stipe looks a little.
Yeah,
he was getting manhandled. He was getting manhandled.
Well, that's the thing. He lost weight. He never carried around body fat, but he lost some weight against when he fought prior to Cormier's third fight against him. But, I went back and watched the first fight between those two again, Ngannou and Stipe. And Stipe was a little bit bigger. His body was a little bit more filled out, and he had a little bit more muscle. But even in that one, Ngannou was, the bigger, stronger guy. But guys, when you see a guy that's that big, just a knockout machine, whether it's boxing or UFC, what is the great equalizer when it comes to that? A guy dealing with a guy with that kind of power, it's fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
It's fatigue. That's wearing a guy out. And after the first round the other night, Stipe was unable to take Ngannou down. And to me, it looked like he didn't have the power that he had in the first fight. And Ngannou didn't gas himself out. In the first fight, Ngannou did the old adrenaline dump. He went hard in the first round. And by the end of the first round, he was done. And Stipe just leaned on him for 4 rounds and beat him up with ground and pound. That didn't happen in the first round of this fight. And Stipe, I don't think, had the same kind of strength to be able to deal with that. And it was a smaller cage, so the speed advantage wasn't a factor. But at the end of the first round, I think Stipe's corner made a mistake. When I was watching it live, I was listening to what his corner, they rotate corners, between rounds. And his corner said, you need more offense. And I think that was a mistake, because immediately I'm thinking, you have to see this guy's not fatigued yet. That's when you want to start put out more offense. To me, he had to be successful in this fight. I think he needed to stay away from this guy and try to tire him out for a couple rounds and do the same thing that he did in the first fight. And that was going to be his advantage, was his cardio. But Ngannou was patient. And when he did catch him, oh, man, he caught him good. Oh, did you see him fall down and his leg buckled underneath him? And his leg flopped.
That's bad.
That was scary, yeah. And Ngannou in 2018 was not ready to be the champion, but he learned. He was patient the other night. He didn't do the adrenaline dump. He didn't go all in. He picked and chose his spots, and whenever it was open, man, he touched him, and boom, that was it. So, new heavyweight champion of the world. It's much deserved. I think it was only a matter of time before this was going to happen. You got a young, hungry fighter like Ngannou with just crazy power and the perfect mindset. What'd you see, B-Live?
And my sentiments exactly. That is exactly what you just explained. It is exactly what I saw. I predicted that Ngannou would end up being the champion. I just think that over the course, he took that loss and he learned from it. He built upon that, and he was much more disciplined this fight. And then it's just you still have that power. So he was like, you know what? Nope. Take my time. I'm gonna throw that jab a couple times, and then, man, when he hit him,
oh boy. Well, Stipe also at one point in that second round when he got knocked out, he had he threw a good shot and connected on it, and I think that made him be sloppy, because in the first fight when he did that, it hurt Ngannou. He backed him up on his heels a little bit, but again, I don't think he had quite the power, and Ngannou wasn't tired. So Stipe made the mistake, listened to his corner, going for more offense. And when he went for that second punch, boom, right, took a left right on the chin. And it was nighty-night time. Hey, Stipe was a good champion, man, but
oh yeah,
as time evolves and the next fighters start catching up to the previous guys, I don't think he'll be champion again. I think he had a good reign, 5 years or whatever it was, but I think his best days are now behind him. It's Ngannou's title for a while, I think. Although, hey, who knows if he actually does get the Jon Jones fight? Jones is a smart fighter, so we'll see how that shakes out. God, I want to see that fight though. I really do.
Please get it together. Just please, we need. I think everybody needs that fight.
Yeah,
everybody needs that fight, man.
We all need it
because at this point, I kind of feel like Jon Jones is the heel, and people are behind Ngannou. They want to see Jon Jones get knocked out because the only loss he has on his record is a DQ, and through time, I mean, Jones has just rubbed people the wrong way. And after the other night, I think people would be chomping at the bit to watch Francis Ngannou knock Jon Jones on his tail.
Yep. Dana White, you know what you got to do, player.
Got to pay him.
That man the money so we can get the fight that we've all been waiting for because we want it, we need it, and we got to have it. Fellas, guess what's coming up on Thursday?
On Thursday, what's happening Thursday?
The return of Major League Baseball. We had a lot of spring training games going on, but guess what? If I'm understanding this thing right, we're going to get a full 162 game schedule this season.
I believe so.
Oh, we about to get a whole full schedule with no interruptions or anything like that. So so guess what? It's that time again for some good old Major League Baseball. And you know what that means? Across the country, that means it's getting warm. I can see the green grass in my front yard. I got to see no more snow on my lawn. It's going to start to warm up a little bit. Scottie D, we live in the same region in Beeline. The grass is evergreen there in the Carolinas any damn way. So, with that being said, it's time to make a little predictions and prognostications. Scottie D, what you got for this upcoming baseball season?
Well, I'm just going to kind of throw out some things I'm interested in watching this year. Okay. And one is that Mike Trout of the Angels this is going to be his 11th year now. I think he's been in for 10 years and he has never won a playoff series. They haven't even been in the playoffs, the Angels, since 2014. And this guy deserves better because he's pretty much the generational baseball player right now of our time. And I have to admit, I have not watched him like I should be watching him. And, typically when you miss players like that, you catch them in the postseason. Like West Coast players, East Coast people see them more in the postseason. We haven't seen that. So I'm going to make it a point to watch Mike Trout this year. They added some starting pitching. They added a closer. Last year they brought in Anthony Rendon. Shohei Ohtani has not panned out for them too much yet, but they did add Jose Iglesias at shortstop, a catcher. So I'm anxious to see if that translates. They were a little bit busy. The team I'm still going. Last year I picked Yankees and Dodgers in the World Series. I think I'm going Yankees again, but I think I'm going to go with the Braves to come out of the National League. The Braves have really good starting pitching. I know you guys like the Braves. They had Soroka tore his Achilles last year, and they should have him back. Mm-hmm. They added Charlie Morton. I think the Braves are going to be a good team to watch. And the Dodgers haven't lost anything. Not really, but it's just so hard to repeat. I mean, they were in the postseason, a dozen years in a row, seemingly, and that was the first time they actually won the World Series. So, I don't know. Do they have the mindset now that they're over the hump, they're going to do it again? The Padres are supposedly the team to watch, but, they added Yu Darvish and Blake Snell. Is that enough? Because they got owned by the Dodgers in the postseason. I don't know if that's enough, but I still think the Dodgers are the team to beat, but I think the Braves can do it. Over to you guys. What do you say here?
Well, I mean, you talk so much in this.
I know. I got hyped up about baseball. I'm sorry.
I mean, and I
cut myself off.
The thing about it is, you literally took every point that I was going to make. I mean, it would almost be repeat exactly what I think.
The Mike Trout thing you were going to talk about Mike Trout.
I wasn't going to talk about Mike Trout, but I was going to talk about the Dodgers, the Braves, the Padres being the team to watch. I actually was going to say that because I agree with you. And that's a very rare moment. For those that are watching and listening, that is a very rare moment that me and Scottie D agree. I agree with him in the National League. I still think that, unfortunately, when I say I love my Atlanta Braves, if I'm going to be unbiased, the Dodgers won it, and they got better in the offseason. I'm like, how? First of all, where is all this money coming from?
Magic Johnson.
Golly.
It's coming from somewhere. It is coming from somewhere.
But, yeah, I'm going to say this, and this is a joke, but I think the Boston Red Sox are going to make some moves because they got LeBron James as a part owner of the Boston Red Sox.
They have too far to go to contend.
Yeah, I know.
I know our New England listeners and viewers are going to kill us, but
they got way too much to go.
Are you going Yankees? We going Yankees?
I mean,
the Yankees, they obviously, Garrett Cole's the big money guy. They added Corey Kluber, added Jameson Taillon. They're getting Domingo Herman back after he had the domestic violence. He had to sit out all of last year. So their pitching, in theory, should be better. I don't know.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to defer my my American League pick to next week because I don't know enough about the American League. I followed a lot of stuff for the National League because, between the Braves, the Dodgers, the Padres, the moves that they made, and on top of that, the National League East division is by far the toughest division in baseball right now. Like, all the teams made major moves this offseason. So it's going to be a dogfight just to get out of the East, but I definitely picked the Braves. And so I followed a lot of that. I couldn't tell you what happened with some of the American League teams. I know somehow, some way, the Astros cheated again. That's about it.
They're going to be a factor again. Yeah, they're going to be a factor again, I think. They lost Springer. He went to Toronto, but it seemed like Michael Brantley was also going there, and he ended up back with the Astros. But to your point about the National League East, I think it's conceivable that the two wild cards could both come from that division.
Absolutely.
It's possible. I know that the Padres Dodgers thing's got, needs to be settled out west, but the Mets added Francisco Lindor, and that's not to be, you can't gloss over a pickup like that. And the Nationals made some moves. They got Josh Bell, but they also got, Josh Bell and Kyle Schwarber. To me, it seems like good moves on paper, but I've seen both of them falter the plate. I like the Mets better, I think, as a wild card, and the Padres as a wild card, because I still think the Dodgers, over the long haul are the team to beat. But nobody's picking the Pirates.
Of course not.
That would be you, sir. That would be you. That's your team, Scott.
Have they decided, like, they're individual players in baseball that make more money than the Pirates spend on their entire team?
That is true.
Fernando
Tatis, he makes more money than the whole Pirates organization.
Payroll. How is that even a thing? Come on.
Bryce Harper.
Yeah. But I'm going to tell you, though, they might have the Rookie of the Year candidate in the National League this year, Brian Hayes. Charlie Hayes' son. He came up in September last year. It was only 24 games, but he batted .376, had 5 home runs. So he's a guy to watch. And then as far as like the MVP thing, Acuna's got to be in the conversation this year. Betts, Tatis Jr., Juan Soto. There are some heavyweights coming out this year. It's gonna be fun to watch a whole full season of baseball. I know that much.
Yes, it'll be fun to watch a whole full season of baseball, and hopefully, hopefully I can find my way to maybe an Indians game, or maybe take that trip back home and go to a Braves game, or maybe even come out your way, Scottie D, and watch your Pirates try not to lay a goose egg.
Okay. If you're spending any money to go, if you're going to spend money, you're going to go see the Pirates. No.
At this point, you're going to see the stadium.
Yeah, the stadium and the river that's right by it. Yeah, I'm here for the ambiance. Who's playing? Yeah, I'm here for the ambiance and the hot dogs. I hear the beer's pretty good too. Yeah,
take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. That's right. Baseball is back. Let's see. I am rolling with the Braves as well too. The Braves are going to be real tough this year because they got everybody coming back. And then, as Scottie D said, the Dodgers, they are the team to beat. But a team that's really going to have a lot of people, put a lot of people on notice, are the San Diego Padres, with Tatis Jr. getting a bunch of money, and they got everybody coming back, and they look real good. But first, they got to get the hell out of the NL West to begin with. And over in the National League, I need Judge and I need Stanton to be healthy.
Yes, please.
I need them to be healthy. If they're healthy, they're my pick coming out of the American League. And,
they're already off to a bad start with injuries now. Luke Voigt's already out with the torn meniscus till June.
Jesus.
And he led the league in home runs last year. I mean, it was a short season, but he had the most home runs in that season. So the injuries have already started for the Yanks.
Yeah, piling up. Yeah, you also can't count out the Astros as well too. Them cheating sons of you know whats, and then also the Twins, fellas. Let's not sleep on the Minnesota Twins. Yeah, before not last season, but the season before, they were steamrolling over everybody. They're playing some real good baseball, and a guy that's really gonna have a good season this year, Juan Soto of the Washington Nationals. He'll do his little Soto shuffle. I saw on the 4-letter network. I'm like, this guy's pretty cool. He's pretty charismatic and a very, very, very smart hitter. So, fellas, Thursday, game number 1 of 162.
I love opening day. Question, Scottie D, because you know a little bit better than me. How did none of us mention the Tampa Bay Rays?
What I had in my notes there is about them. The only thing I really am they got hot at the end of the year. They had some trouble managing because Blake Snell was their guy on the mound about to win Game 7, and now he's in San Diego. But they might have the best shot at the American League Rookie of the Year. That's Randy Rosarena, who looked like a world beater in the postseason last year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They always seem to get left out of the conversation. But, yeah, I mean, they should be right there again, you would think. We'll see.
Yep,
we shall see.
Yep, and we shall see. Well, we also cannot leave the NFL out of this week's news as well, too. On the top of the order, that's our name for this opening segment of the podcast. We call it the top of the order. We had a trade of draft picks. There's a whole lot going on. You got 3 teams involving the 49ers, the Dolphins, and also the Philadelphia Eagles. So pay attention. Here's what's going on. So if I stutter or stammer, just bear with me, please. Here we go. The 49ers trade the 12th pick, a 2022 third-round pick as a compensatory pick, and first-round picks in 2022 and 2023 in exchange for this year's Dolphins' 3rd overall pick in the draft. Miami, they get a 2021 6th-round overall pick and 156th 5th-round pick from the Eagles in exchange for the 12th pick, the 123rd pick, and a 2022 first-round pick.
Quiz on that later. We'll quiz you on that later.
Yeah, I'm about out of breath. I'm over here sweating. All right, and with that being said, B-Log, I'm gonna let you lead off with this one. Which of these 3 teams will benefit from the trades, and who gave up too damn much?
I'm gonna say, out of all of this, the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins. I think they're gonna they moved up. I think they moved up, and they're gonna grab a wide receiver. They're gonna grab a top wide receiver. They're gonna give Tua a very solid weapon, and I think they're gonna do the little Alabama to Alabama connection and get Jalen Waddle. I think that's what that move was to grab a top-notch wide receiver, give him a weapon. Now, who moves up to get a wide receiver? I don't know, but I think that Jalen Waddle and Jamar Chase, I think they're otherworldly talent. I think they're going to have great NFL careers. I think that it's those two especially. What's my dude? Devontae. He won the Heisman.
Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith. He won the Heisman. He's up there as well. I think just Waddle and Chase. I think Miami's going to benefit best because Miami was already a 10-win team. They don't lose anything on the defensive end. They pick up a top-notch wide receiver. I think Miami challenges Buffalo with this move in the AFC East. Oh yeah, let me go and put this out there real quick. Screw you, San Francisco, for moving up and making those picks that you got to give up the whole world and Partridge in the Pear Tree just move up a couple of spots because y'all don't believe in Jimmy G anymore. Now my Panthers are sitting here. Well, what do we do now, George? What do we do? Because I mean, we're not gonna give up all of that just to move up in the draft. Only thing that we would do in that, I don't even know that's still on the table anymore. Don't really even want to mention it, but it's still Deshaun Watson. But I really don't want to even get into that. But yeah, Miami, I think they stand the best to improve after this movement.
All right, Scottie D, who benefited and who got hosed?
I think Miami, I like what they did because the top three are all going to be quarterbacks. They've decided Tua is their quarterback. They weren't going to draft a quarterback. But at the same time, they didn't want to get left out in the cold, moving all the way back to 12, so they moved back up to 6. And you know why they moved back up there? Because they didn't want to miss out on the maybe highest tight end prospect that one can find, and that is Kyle Pitts coming out of Florida. That's who Miami's taking. That's a big target that Tua's going to need. They actually have a couple good receivers. They just signed one from what's the guy from Fuller, right? Wouldn't they just sign Will Fuller?
Yeah, they
Texans.
They signed Will Fuller, but he got to sit down for a few games.
He's out for 6 weeks if I'm not mistaken.
Hasn't he already served a couple of those games though?
No. Well, actually, he got injured. I think he got injured towards the end of the season, and he was already out. And I think the report broke that he was using PEDs, and then I guess going into next season he may have to sit because he was
okay.
hurt,
so we'll assume he's sitting a couple games anyway. But they had a couple other good receivers I thought last year. I don't think that's as much of a need. But if you can get this guy is supposed to be a can't miss prospect coming out, a big tight end like that, who's like the most athletic looking tight end prospect we've ever seen. I think that's the reason they wanted to get back up there, to not miss out on the chance for that guy. So I like what they've stockpiled a lot of picks the last couple of years. That's how you build an organization. But it's not going to matter if they keep stockpiling picks and hitting on them all if their quarterback ends up being a bust. That's going to be the big key, is what we need to see more from Tua next year. He didn't overly impress. I mean, I know it was a kind of a weird season and he only got a few games in at the end, but they're going in on him because they traded out of there and they let old Fitzmagic go up to the Washington football team. But I'm not so sure San Francisco is counting on Jimmy G. I still think he's going to head to the Patriots. I still think there's a chance of that happening, or of the Patriots moving up maybe into Atlanta spot at 4 and trying to get a quarterback there. So we got a month to see how that shakes out.
Here's my thing. I just want to know, when are the 49ers going to stop this game with Jimmy Garoppolo? Because apparently Jimmy Garoppolo, he just ain't it.
I think they stopped the game. I think that's why they made the deal.
He just ain't it. It's a classic case of, hey, man, everybody know you ain't good but you. You know what I'm saying? This have to be like that.
But maybe he's just in the wrong system, and maybe he would be good if he went back to New England.
Yeah.
That's what they're counting on with Carson Wentz in Indianapolis, that he's going back to the coach that helped them be successful. So be interesting to see how that works out as well.
Yeah,
and just an update real quick. Will Fuller served 5 of his 6-game suspension last year. So he's only out for 1 game in 2021.
Okay. Oh, wow. So, the Dolphins are going to be fully loaded this coming season. Hey, fellas, guess what else going to be fully loaded?
What's going on? What, Eddy Kool? What? Who?
I'm glad y'all asked. It's time once again for our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices. And with that being said, hey, yo, Button, hit it.